are your NFL Week 3 highlights. Brought to you by the Crüe NFC Roundtable.
Good morning, Week 4 NFC Roundtable. Forgot to tell you guys that was going to happen today. I don't know who pieced that together, but they did a great job editing out anything against the Bucs and highlighting the Jimmy G step out of the end zone and forgetting to put in the Bears or the Cowboys. So it was perfect.
I don't know why. I don't know why it didn't cover the 87 punts that were in the Niners game.
I looked and looked for the butt punt, but there wasn't a good shot of it that I could actually put on TikTok. And for some reason, I put bunt putt in, and Antonio Brown came up in a swimming pool in Dubai. So I don't know if you guys saw that. That was pretty disturbing footage of Antonio Brown exposing himself and forcing himself upon unwelcoming guests at a hotel in Dubai back in May. So that just surfaced on the internet. It's great. And they, of course, are showing him in a Bucs uniform. So how you guys doing today? I kind of rambled there for a little bit.
Oh, I was about to get the team soapbox thing going. you know what the funny thing about that the highlights and stuff like that? Of course, I noticed that there were no Bears or anything like that, but the only thing I remember is that Team America World Police, where they were like singing that montage. What we need is a montage. Remember that? They were reminding me of that.
You're a jerk.
Yeah, we've had some interesting issues around here in the greater Central Florida area. But you know, we came through relatively unscathed. Now we're waiting for the Bears, of course, to beat the Giants, and that's the only team that really we should be talking about. Period.
Oh, Florida's had issues in general. You got the hurricane, and you got the headache of Miami, right? I mean,
so there is a little something going on in Miami. Apparently,
what are you guys talking about? I'm a little fuzzy up here. Hold on. I hurt my ankle this morning. I'm having trouble remembering.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. So, but yeah, he apparently, and they did in fact find escape, not necessarily escape, but the person who may or may not have been responsible for his high ankle sprain diagnosis. They, of course, eliminated that team, whoever. But yeah, with what you actually seen and stuff like that, I mean, there's definitely, you need to be able to actually go back to square one apparently with your protocols and make sure that the players are as with it as they possibly can be. And if you have now. Yes, they're grown adults. They know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly what the end result may be. However, I mean, if that's going to be something that's going to scar a bunch of people for a long time. So that's which is, of course, in Miami.
Yeah, but see what I did there, Andy? So
that was a strong number 2.
They they have technology in place. Not saying they're rolling it out through the whole NFL, but I know for a fact technology is in place where you have a helmet that is equipped with a microchip or a SD card that tracks the velocity of a hit, the impact, the jarring of the head. I mean, they have all that technology, and yet none of it is even being enforced or actually entered into protocols in the NFL yet. There's got to be, something bigger has to be done than what's being done at the present time.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, they could.
Well,
They could try to eliminate, the hits altogether and just do like a hard tag, I guess.
I mean, they're doing that right now with the Pro Bowl, aren't they? They're switching it to straight flag and skills competition.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's just to get participation out of the players. But I mean, this all comes down to the NFL wants their superstar on the field to make money. Plain and simple. So are they willing to look past the injury to get the superstar on the field, especially during a primetime game where they've got the story of Burrow versus Tua? Absolutely. And that's what you saw this weekend.
I don't know.
well, let put this into perspective, though. I mean, it wasn't the Dolphins that were being investigated for, with the lawsuit from their former head coach about them paying money under the table to tank games and all this other junk. And it's like, and then all of a sudden this happens. I mean, could this be more of an organizational failure than a just a straight up doctor failure?
No, I really think it is.
I mean, and then Adam Schefter tweeted this. This is interesting because of the seriousness of the situation. It says the NFLPA and NFL soon are expected to agree to new protocols in which anytime any player demonstrates any instability, he is not allowed to return to the game. The rule could go into effect as early as week 5.
And that's just going to turn into people complaining that the ref is controlling the game by saying that this guy has to sit out. Because he got up it's already, they sent a guy to protocol who got up totally fine just because he hit his head. And that changes the game because he's not in for the next few plays. But
at some point, you got to protect the player from himself.
Absolutely. But this to me just screams the NFL wants their superstar on the field. You can see it with the rule changes. You can't hit the quarterback low. You can't land on the quarterback. You can't look at the quarterback wrong when you get up. You can't, say bad things about him, whatever. They protect the quarterback so much because that is the money. If the starting quarterback doesn't play, the team goes down the drain. They don't get the fans. They don't get the revenue. So on a primetime game, to rush a guy back into the game, to me, that screams the NFL is pushing it.
I mean, that's definitely a valid point. And, I just feel it lays with the Dolphins organization personally. They were undefeated. Tua gave them the best chance to win. He played. When spinal injury, brain trauma, it could have been his brain stem. With posturing, your brain stem is injured. That's pressure on the brain stem. When you bring those hands up in a fencing position or posturing, whatever you want to call it, that's pressure on the brain stem. And the brain's just shooting neurons that the body can't comprehend. But
does he play again this year?
Maybe.
Well, he only stubbed his toe, so
does he play again? Probably. Should he play again? Probably not, honestly. You had a Green Bay Packer injure his neck, and he decided it was in his best interest not to play again. Right? Little receiver for Brett Favre back in the day has a brother that's a loudmouth on TV today.
Yeah, Sterling Sharp.
There you go. Like darts trying to get it to stick. Anyway,
because of it.
But what do you actually draw the line of? Granted, again, grown men, they understand what they're getting into. So imagine somebody of 330 pounds or something like that can still run a sub 540, hitting you at full speed. That impact is pretty heady. So you have that, but then you also have the idea of the NFL being, of course, a business, and you want to be able to protect that business. Yes. The point is basically this. I mean, if you actually have something like that, a catastrophic injury like that, on live air, things like that, people are going to start, pushing back a little bit. The diehard football fans would be like, oh, that's football. You kind of understand, you kind of appreciate the fact that it's like a gladiator type of mentality.
100%.
However, when they were doing the congressional hearings and stuff like that, and the NFL was actually compared to big tobacco and things like that, that's when a whole lot of the CTE thing began, and they donated money for research and things like that. So you don't necessarily want to have that negative spin, which is going to, of course, look bad on you, which next thing you know is going to cost you money in the end. So
yeah, knowing what you know now, saying you had the opportunity not even to play for money, if you could strap it up for one more year, would you play?
So getting out of bed sounded like a box of Rice Krispies? Probably not. 5 years ago? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. Jerry? You wouldn't have to play guard. You could play wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, if I was still in shape,
right,
I'd go right now.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. I wake up every morning. I have to crawl out of bed, and I'd even play for a single dollar, but I would do it again. If I could do it again healthy and go out on that field healthy, I would play. And I know, what's at stake. Brian, what are your thoughts on it?
I'd love to play one more game, obviously, if I was in shape and healthy and stuff like that. But it would always be in the back of my mind, though. All it takes is one hit. It would be in the back of my mind. Could I completely focus?
Yeah.
So we definitely needed the cheerleader's perspective on, from Brian's side. So I appreciate that.
So Gary, you have a son. Would you let your son play?
Yeah, absolutely.
No questions asked.
Yeah. Does anybody else think that the coach for the Dolphins is the kid who came up with the annexation of Puerto Rico just grown up? He never played football, but he was just good at making plays. And then, yeah.
Lou Holtz never played a snap of football. He did all right. He was a swimmer. But anyway, so there are other things going on today besides us joking around about stupid stuff and the seriousness of the injury of Tua. We have a game on right now. It involves an NFC North team with an NFC South team, but let's kick it up to the North and let you guys take over for a little bit, and I'll just fall asleep.
Hi. See, look, he's already falling asleep because we aren't saying anything.
You're right.
We're just like, So, hey, I heard they're putting up a new stadium around Chicago. Oh, wait, that's
what I heard too.
Yeah, the city.
But at least Chicago will have a football team playing there. Northwestern is expected to play there, right?
Nope.
Oh, they're not playing there while they're building the field?
No, I think the city of Chicago is going to invest in the Chicago Fire as their premier sports team.
They actually have their own stadium in Bridgeview,
They had Chicago Sky, right? Ain't that a team?
Chicago Sky, yeah.
They were. Well, no, somebody else won this year, but last year they won the WNBA championship because there was like 11 people watching from the parade.
Well, that's more than the Bears.
Right on.
There's more people than the 49ers have on their active roster.
So, Viking Saints are playing right now.
That's the rumor.
I'm not watching it. I think the Saints are too hurt.
I have a question, though, for you. Is it too early to say that it's a must-win game for either team? I being an NFC South fan, nothing would make me happier, especially being a Bucs fan, than seeing the Saints go down another game. And, the Vikings falling another game brings everything closer in the North, right?
So well, of course, in my opinion, the Bears are still, of course, going to run the rest of the division. However, realistically speaking, what will end up happening is if Minnesota, in fact, does lose to the Saints, which I don't necessarily see because the Saints are actually a little bit of flux right now, but Cousins and and Cook and all the other awesome offensive players, if anything, need to be able to kind of sort of wake up for sure. Because if by chance they fall to this particular team, you're looking at Green Bay. Even though they've had their struggles this year so far, they have that opportunity to be able to kind of sneak in and still maintain the Central, the North, and then the Bears might be hopefully thinking Cubs. Hopefully, if anything, like a second, be able to sneak into the playoffs, knock off the Packers, and go to the Super Bowl. But Vikings need to win this for sure.
I mean, the Vikings have the advantage coming in this week because the Saints have just about everybody on their roster injured. You're without your starting quarterback, you're without Michael Thomas, you're without your guard, Andis Pete, you're without Marcus May.
Kamara's out too.
And AK-41 was just listed as a scratch right before kickoff. So they activated Latavius Murray to fill his void, but
UCF.
I don't know. I just think Saints have too many people on the sideline watching this game to even really do anything, in my opinion. Like I said, I don't have the game on, so I couldn't tell you how they're doing right now.
Well, as a matter of fact, as far as like the Vikings and their injuries and things like that, it looks like they're, for the most part, healthy-ish. So it looks like the only thing they had was Darius Smith was questionable, and of course Andrew Booth was doubtful.
Right.
So if you're looking at literally only two people that are even have a question, yeah, you have looking at the New Orleans Saints,
by the way.
7-0 Vikings.
Start of the second.
Right on.
So Minnesota definitely has that opportunity to be able to actually, pull ahead for sure, or at least even with, in the division itself. But if you want to move on to the Bears,
No, we're good.
Bears G-Men.
When they in fact beat the Giants this afternoon, they in fact are going to have really nothing of major consequence within transactions. Elevated kicker Michael Badgley and running back Darrington Evans to active roster. Signed kicker Michael, of course, Badgley, and of course plays defensive line Andre Anthony, and to practice squad injured. So as far as their injury report, it looks like you have several people doubtful. Matthew Adams out. Dane Cruikshank doubtful. Ryan Griffin out. Jalen Johnson questionable. Jones Jr. out. David Montgomery, which is kind of a ouch. Questionable. Robert Quinn out. Carlos Santos. So, which is kind of interesting because how on earth can you actually have a kicker who's actually out? Did he have a high ankle sprain?
No,
He probably has a concussion.
It was a personal matter, and people are kind of speculating because he does a lot of his practicing. I guess he's from Florida. He does a lot of his practicing down in Florida because of the different grass and stuff like that, because they're trying to still maintain Soldier Field's grass.
No drug talk on the show, please.
With the hurricane, so they're kind of wondering. They said it's a non-injury related personal matter, and he's basically a game time decision.
So anyway, it says that he's out.
Okay.
Roquan Smith, unspecified, and of course Sterling Weatherford, the incomparable Sterling Weatherford, is also questionable. But you're asking yourself legitimately, Sterling who? What? Huh? However, you're going against the Giants, and I believe Mr. Packerbacker here has some information on that particular game.
Yeah. So that's right. That's right. I only give advice that if you got a little couch change, you should put it on this. You're talking about the Bears with I believe, the second rated rush offense in the National Football League. Can you believe it? And they're going against the 28th worst rush defense in the league. But think about this on the other side. Saquon Barkley, looks stronger than ever. I think this is going to be a run fest today, just for the simple fact the Giants are missing tons of weapons. Here's the play, and this is interesting. On FanDuel and DraftKings, there is a little parlay that has, if you take the Bears to win outright, you have Khalil Herbert and Saquon Barkley each scoring 2 touchdowns each, plus 5,000. It's worth $1.
Yeah.
You know the Bears aren't going to come out passing.
Which, unfortunately, is kind of with just a really quick to address the questions about Fields and things like that. And of course, there's been rumors already that that he's not necessarily happy in Chicago. He wanted to play in warmer weather, things of that nature. The things that you see on Facebook, for example, his passer rating as well as his yards, attempts, and things like that are ranked 33rd in the league out of 32 teams, which is partially correct. You're looking at only week 3, week 4. It's still early in the season. You have a new coach, new offense. You have new receivers, new everything. So you just gonna have to give the kid just a shade slackage. So we'll just kind of let it go from there. Now in about 4 weeks, right around the middle of the season, if he hasn't improved, then I'll be jumping on that bandwagon and get him out of Chicago too. But give the kid some slack. We're going to beat the Giants today, so.
I mean, it's the Bears.
Nobody's happy.
I know where you live.
I mean, seriously, that's all the Bears do is they cycle through quarterbacks. You have Jay Cutler, who's was a good quarterback. We're going to throw him away, I don't even know, throw him away, we'll get Justin Fields.
That's an offensive line. Once they actually get their offensive line squared away, then it's just going to be – it's a process. You have to trust the process, at least this half.
All right. Well, let's get to that let's get to that team that cheats in the state of Wisconsin, uses illegal information to get tactical plays. Let's go to Green Bay.
I won't – look, sorry for your loss, Mike. Sorry for your loss.
I have no Jumbotron behind me, so you don't know what I'm going to do.
I see you have your camera tilted down a little bit, so you're learning. Anyways, after that, which I didn't think was going to happen, victory, they came out, pretty unscathed with the exception of Jair Alexander, and we're still waiting word if he's in or out. Otherwise, they did pretty well in terms of the injury thing. They are going against New England. Mac Jones is out. They're starting Brian Hoyer. Yeah, that's all you need to know about this game.
Yeah.
I know it's Belichick. Belichick likes to do a lot of schemes and stuff like that on the defensive side. I just don't see it happening.
I mean, if they lose to the Patriots, I honestly feel a little better about myself. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, there's really not much to talk about this game.
Not at all.
In my opinion, I really don't.
How's your friend Bakhtiari doing? Is he still up and about?
He is. Obviously he played. He actually played quite a bit against Tampa, which I was shocked because he was supposedly on a pitch count, was supposed to be rotating every other series, and you actually saw him in several straight series. Yeah. So.
Because it looks like you also have Caleb Jones, who's also he's out due to an illness. So if by chance Bakhtiari is out and Caleb Jones is out on your offensive line,
Bakhtiari is not even listed on the injury report.
Yeah, he was the highest ranked offensive lineman the Packers or Buccaneers had in that game. Allowed 0 pressures, 0 hits on the quarterback. It was an exceptional game. So
excellent.
Pack Bears should win today. I mean, in all likelihood, that's what you guys are trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Giants are pretty injured. If the Bears lose to the Giants, I think they're going to ship them to Arlington Heights.
Or Evansville.
They might end up making a walk to Arlington Heights.
Anything else up north we need to discuss, or can we head west?
Well, You do
For
have
the
Detroit.
nation. Oh yeah, we forgot about Detroit. How do you
We
forget
all
about
forget
Detroit?
about Detroit.
It's Detroit. People in Detroit forget about Detroit.
I'm
It's
taking
one
the
of those
Lions today.
You know what? I think so. I think the Lions are going to end up winning also, to tell you the truth, because they're playing whatchamacallit.
The Seagulls.
And I think it's a road game if memory serves. So
But the Lions are missing a lot of key people, though.
Yeah, the Lions have people.
coming from the 49ers, who's got like 17 players on the roster. Come on.
We held tryouts yesterday, okay?
But I just think that with what you're looking at, the Detroit actually transaction wise, they signed kicker Dominic. What's with all the kickers being signed? Although I do have to admit, Kansas City got who?
Concussion protocol.
Kansas City just signed Andrew Wright from UCF, of course, as to their kicking staff. And tackle Dan Skipper, an active roster from the practice squads. They waived guard Drew Forbes and tight end Shane. Anyway, so we'll move on to I can't pronounce that name. Zylstra? But it looks like they have all kinds of people out, from John Kaminsky, Jonah Jackson. Wasn't he an actor? Austin Siebert, okay. Amon Ray St. Brown.
Yeah, the loss of St. Brown and DJ Chark is going to be huge this game because they're not going to be able to really throw the ball much.
Well, and DeAndre Swift's out too.
And Swift, I was just going to get there. And Swift's out, so that takes away your, back out of the backfield, play action ability.
They're going to harken back to the days of Calvin Johnson. They're just going to chuck it down and see what happens.
You got your home field advantage, so I mean, it's a long travel for the Seahawks. Lions are a team that always seem to fight their way into a game, just can't seem to close it out. So, not an easy feeling on this game. I wouldn't touch it.
But it might end up being like one of the baseball scores, similar to like the Packers and Tampa Bay. It's going to be like a 6-5 score or something like that. It's going to be one of those.
Wasn't that the Niners game? Wasn't it like 11-10?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Well, I'm seriously, wasn't it 11-10?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. How do you get 11 in a football game? Let's think. Is that 3 field goals? And a safety?
Giving or taking.
Right, play the clip. I'm sure you made something.
It was already shown. You didn't see it?
Well, yeah, but I figured
That was the only highlight from that game.
You get something else.
All right, we're going to you, Jerry. All right. So the Niners took a heartbreaker last week, right? I mean,
yeah, they played the Rams on Monday night, and that's about it. All right. That was besides the key injuries that were just you couldn't even watch. Trent Williams is out, Shahir's out.
It almost looked like Jimmy G was like, you got to pay me regardless because I'm starting. I don't even have to play well anymore. You don't have anybody else to put in, so I'm just going to
$250,000 stepping out of the back of the end zone in slow motion. I mean, normally I'm all about Jimmy G and stuff, but it was just like I'm watching that play and I was like, hey man, watch out! You're getting close to the back of the end zone. He's not going to step out of the back of the end zone. Oh my gosh, he's getting really close to the back of the end zone. He just stepped out of the back of the end zone.
At least with Orlovsky, he was trying to avoid pressure.
I mean,
Jimmy G was like a straight drop back.
Taking we're running a screen drop. Like I'm going to run backwards 20 yards.
11-10. I haven't seen that score. I don't think ever.
I've never seen that many punts in a game. That was ridiculous. And I was laughing at the start of the game because the fans were booing the Broncos for going 3 and out repeatedly. And then the Niners were like, hey, that looks like fun. Let's do that too. It was just, my God, very, very challenging to watch.
So legitimate question now. So, you got somebody else with you today. So, legitimate question though, with the
Go ahead.
offensive line that San Francisco supposedly, they're good offensive line. They can run the ball usually. What exactly happened there? Because if you had your running back and your quarterback who usually has at least some time to be able to make some sort of a Garoppolo type of decision, really, what do you think offensively happened last week that they couldn't move the ball?
I mean, when Trent Williams went down, it was just scattering of who can play what, and that's been the Niners' downfall. Is they have 5 guys to play the line. They don't have the 6th. So once one guy goes down or anything, that guy who comes in is the weak point, bigger than shit, and it sucks.
So is that an offensive shortcoming, or is that like a personnel shortcoming, or even a coaching?
I mean, injuries happen. I mean, that's got to fall somewhere, either on the GM or your coach not being able to develop the talent that it's given. But is that Kyler Murray in the background?
No, that's his older brother.
So, what other games you got? I mean, you got the Rams. Niners have beaten the Rams how many times?
I think it's
Is it
6.
6 or 7?
It's like 7 of the last 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because yes, they do have their number, and it is in San Francisco. But yeah, I mean, like you guys said, there's not enough people to fill a roster right now. So
I mean, do they have a practice squad? I mean, honestly, what's the plan?
I mean,
What's the plan going into this game? You have to have set number to staff to fill the roster to be able to play the game. That's the NFLPA's agreement. You have to have.
I mean, they'll have people out there. They'll have bodies out there, but it's going to be who? Like, who the hell is this guy? We didn't even see him in preseason because,
Bobby Boucher?
The trainer, the guy who normally just stands there and, catches passes for the quarterbacks to warm up. Hey, man, here, throw this jersey on. All right.
Hey. They made a movie about a guy like that once.
Yeah.
Twice.
It's going to be interesting, but
Invincible.
I don't know. I think it should still be a good game. I mean, I'm
Jerry, you sound so defeated today. It almost makes me happy just to sit here and listen to the agony
it's so
in your
difficult.
voice.
It's just, yeah. But other games, the Seagulls are going to play the Lions.
And you honestly think the Lions win that game?
I do. The Seagulls are not that good. And, yeah.
You just said the Seahawks aren't that good, and they're facing the Lions. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the Lions have been the laughing stock of the NFL since the Bucs won a game.
I know, but I just don't think that the Seagulls pull it out on the road against the Lions.
I'm sorry to
I'll believe me later. I went 1-5 last week, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay.
That sounds like me last year.
But there was actually a stat that I actually seen about the Buccaneers. Matter of fact, in 1976 and 77, did you know they had the longest losing streak in the NFL? It was like 27 games. 26 or 27 games.
26, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. Do you know who they beat for their first win?
That's why they're so arrogant now.
The New Orleans Saints. So
that was it.
Anyway, we tried to bash the Bucs, and I still come out on top.
Gross.
Except for last week.
Quit living in the past, Brian. We're on to bigger, better things. So, who else we got in your division that's playing today?
Cardinals go to Carolina.
And they lose to Carolina? They're pretty injured.
Probably.
The Cardinals have what? 1, 2, 3.
They got a guy from preschool playing quarterback.
Well, you got Green's out, right? AJ Green, wide receiver's out. Lawrence, their defense lineman's out. Their linebacker, Ezekiel Turner's out. Questionable, you got Moore and Brown, both questionable, and J.J. Watt's questionable. And then for the Panthers, all you're missing is
Quarterback.
nobody. I mean, you got CMC, who's He'll play, but for how long, who knows? But if he can get going, I don't know how the Cardinals can, score with the Panthers this week.
I mean, somebody told me that Kyler Murray looks like a toddler who stole your phone and won't give it back when he's running around, and now I can't unsee it. So
We talked about that last week.
yeah. So that's their only chance, though. I mean,
Arizona will be a different team in 2 more weeks.
if they don't get slapped in the face by the fans like they did in Vegas,
Two more weeks. You get Hopkins back. You should have Moore, Brown, and AJ Green all back healthy, and that's going to totally change their offense. This year, I think Arizona is going to go into the back end of the season and start ripping off some wins. It's just reversal of fortune for them this year.
yeah.
But we've covered most of the games already. We still have the NFC East to get into. Only one game we really haven't talked about with the NFC East, and that's Cowboys Giants. Not Cowboys Giants, Cowboys Commodores. Lionel Richie.
Comanches, right?
So as far as the Cowboys and the Commodores, they, of course, Dallas has actually promoted quarterback Will Greer to the active roster from the practice squad. As far as injuries are concerned in relation to, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, you'll have to wait because we're actually in the midst of.
You have Dak that's out. Schultz is questionable. Connor McGowan, their guard is out, and their safety Curse is out or is questionable. Sorry. For Washington, all you have out is Charles Leno, or questionable is Charles Leno. All you have out is Wes Schweizer, their offensive guard. But it's going to be a battle of ginger quarterbacks, and no one wins that.
Because that's the only reason why the Cowboys fans are going to the stadium.
Cooper Rush has won the last 4 games he started in, if I'm not mistaken.
You're exactly right.
And he's going against Carson Wentz, who's the Queen just died, and Prince Charles. I mean, he's got to be some lineage there. He looks just like that family. I'm sure he's still in mourning. I got Dallas winning this game.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going to see a lot of Zeke this week. Maybe he actually gets healthy. What were you going to say, Andy?
Is it in Washington?
It's at Dallas.
Okay, never mind. I mean, I was just wondering if, in fact, they were going to bring their own
benches
and things like that.
Sunshades.
Right.
The Packers did, and have some guy paid to just stand there and hold the thing for no reason.
Yeah, what was that? Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
He was being paid to stand on the sideline and hold a tarp over top.
They had them hurricane force winds of 5 miles an hour there. So,
But yeah, I think Dallas is gonna quite handily beat the Reds. Commodores, Commanders.
That team.
Yep. Worst name change in the business. They should have just stayed Washington football team. But,
yeah. Even if you went with the Commodores, I mean, it's easy like Sunday morning. I mean, I think Dallas is going to end up. Yeah, you like that one? I had to work that one in.
That was worse than hanging tough, Andy.
Oh boy.
Way worse.
I don't know if we necessarily want to go there because I've actually been practicing on the dance. I just have a high ankle sprain right now.
So do you guys remember when that rivalry between the Washington Redskins and the Dallas Cowboys was actually exciting and something you actually could look forward to?
No.
Me neither. Let's go on to something else.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like we need to go south, right?
No.
I mean,
We forgot the Eagles.
did we? They're undefeated.
We got to talk pick 6.
I will talk about the Eagles.
They're going to be the Jaguars. That's it.
They're taking
We're done.
on Jaguars who keep freaking winning somehow.
Yeah, the Jags haven't really played anybody.
God. Yeah, but they weren't supposed to win those games either.
So do you guys think Philadelphia's style of play is long for the league? I mean, do you think it's going to last throughout the season, or you think that the NFL defenses are going to catch up to how they're playing right now? Jalen looks good, right? Mobile quarterback, putting yardage on the ground, putting it up in the air.
I
kind of reminds you of Kelly Green wearing quarterback named Randall Cunningham, just a little shorter. But yeah, he plays a lot
after the draft.
There's at least 3 other quarterbacks who are doing that too. Everything from Lamar, for example, even Russell, to a point that actually is a little bit of a scrambler. So it'll eventually kind of get to that point where you're right. They are going to sort of make some adjustments, but I think the Eagles, especially with Jalen, will probably readjust on that adjust, and I think they're going to do pretty well. Probably falling to the Bears in the playoffs.
So when do you think the Eagles get their first loss this year?
Let me pull up their schedule.
In a football game on Sunday.
It's fair. They don't play many Monday night games.
I say next week, honestly.
Who they got next week?
Cardinals. At Cardinals.
Really? I don't think the Cardinals do anything until week 6.
I think they fall into it and they lose there.
I think the Jags pull the upset this week.
No.
Really?
I do. And the only reason I feel that way is because the Jags are a young team, but the Eagles are a young team. And sooner or later, that pressure gets to a veteran team, and as a rookie is a young team led by a quarterback who's basically in the first year of an offense. I think it's going to fall to his pressure. I think he's going to fall the Jags this week.
I don't see it.
So if you actually look at their actual injury report, there's about 250 names on this list. So quite a few of them that are unspecified, and it's actually like a game-time decision. You do, in fact, have one out, Boston Scott, running back, rib. And then you also have Vontae Maddox, quarterback. He has an ankle, and he's out. And you have literally everything from A.J. Brown, Fletcher Cox. I mean, everybody is actually unspecified, so I think it's a game-time decision. So I think if the Jaguars were to come out and give them a game, this might actually end up being the game because of how many people are actually questionable.
Well, the Jags are only down backup offensive lineman Van Lanen and linebacker Chason, who's a rotational linebacker. So they're not really out anybody. Wide receiver Zay Jones is expected to play, and Shaquille Griffin is expected to play for the Jags. So you're not out anyone in Jacksonville, really.
So are we going to change your pick from the Eagles to the Jags?
Did I? Unfortunately, not for pick 6. After seeing the injury report today,
the Jags are going to win, but I'm taking the Eagles.
No, I'm saying I saw the injury report today, and after seeing the injury report today, I switched my assessment. I made my pick 6 last night.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's not in stone yet. You want the
Jags? Switch it then. Yeah, I wasn't going to switch it, but yeah, switch it.
Okay, good. I need to make up the ground on you.
I'm gonna have to stay with the Eagles on this one because that's actually in my pick 6 as well. So I'm gonna have to stay with the Eagles because, yes, Jacksonville is not really missing a whole lot. And you have a couple of UCF players on there, of course. I just don't see that. I just see the Eagles pulling this one out. Not by a great deal.
No, maybe. Not in Philly.
What's that muck in the middle?
What?
Yeah. You get that reference? He's like, yes, no, maybe. You don't remember the opening credits for Malcolm in the Middle?
So,
and we'll avoid the nonsense.
You clicked the button and I said, so moving to the South.
my brilliance is unfathomable, I know.
We got Vikings at Saints, Browns at Falcons, Cardinals at Panthers, and Sunday night special revisit of the COVID Super Bowl, Chiefs at the Bucs. Vikings Saints is going right now. Guess it's a little too late to list the injury report. We've already did it once. We're not going to do it again. Browns Falcons. Browns have quite a few players out. Joe Haig is out. Taven Bryan's out. Myles Garrett is out, and Jadeveon Clowney is a game-time decision. And for the Falcons, they're good to go. This game, I think you're going to see a lot of ground ground attack early. You're going to have Nick Chubb and what's his name? Swiss Army knife, man of many positions, only one that had any value in fantasy. Cordero Patterson. Browns win, right?
I don't know.
Here's a little tidbit that Falcons have the 7th rated efficiency in terms of efficiency.
All right, sorry.
I'm not playing this game.
I was waiting
But it's
for
something,
the
something to
Raven
think
on
about.
Kane's her way.
It's something to think about. Everybody laughs at Mariota's their quarterback and stuff like that, but here they are. They're quietly not doing that bad.
That was incredibly profound.
Mariota's their quarterback. That's the only stat you need going into any week playing the Falcons.
Okay.
Browns win this game.
I mean, Brissett is their quarterback.
So Panthers Cards. Like we said earlier, questionable. Panthers coming in pretty much healthy. You got CMC that's questionable. Their receiver, I can't even say his name. Cheyenne, whatever, Latavius. But the Cardinals are injured, to say the least. We've already discussed that game. Let's get to where the money matters.
Already discussed that game.
Sunday Night Football. I hate Sunday Night Football.
Take us off the screen. Just
But seriously, I
soapbox
hate
ready.
Sunday Night Football. You have to wait all day long to get to your team, and you've already been drinking. You've already spent a lot of energy. By the time it comes on, you're already tired. You got to work in the morning because it's Monday. I think it's just do away with Sunday Night Football. Gary, not everyone works from home.
No. I say we go away with Monday Night Football because that is even worse.
Well, you at least get to work, not drink, and then you can drink after you get home from work.
Oh, I get to work? Cool. I'm just thinking of the game all day. Yeah.
Is anyone really excited for the Chiefs-Bucs rematch, though? Outside of Chiefs and Bucs fan, does anyone really care in the NFL?
No. Probably
I
won't
don't
be
care about that at all either.
I don't hear any real hype around this game. You don't hear a lot of people chattering about the Chiefs-Bucs. Bucs are finally getting their receiving core back this game. Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, and Russell Gage all expected to play today. They did bring up Cole Beasley. So you will see a healthy offense. Hopefully Donovan Smith gets to take the snaps. He has a game-time decision. I think that's the missing piece of the offense right now. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I can't stand Donovan Smith as an offense tackle, but he is the missing piece in the Bucs offense right now. But the Chiefs come in. Their defensive end, Mike Doom's out, and their kicker, Butker's out. The only person to score points in the Super Bowl is out. I, again, never pick my teams when I do the pick six, but I got Bucs. So everyone chime in. Feel free. Don't just sit there mute like you do all the time.
Sorry, I was caught off guard. I thought you still had another 15 minutes or so.
I think we dedicated this segment to our nap time.
But I mean, seriously, is anyone else in the NFL really excited about the Bucs?
By us giving him an hour show after this to talk about the Bucs, it's really helped out our show to crunch the time down.
You imagine how painful that must be to just sit there. Oh my god! But Akeem Hicks is actually still out, so your defense isn't necessarily going to be where it should be. I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things because the Bucs, for some reason, I think it's because we've actually seen kind of behind the curtain at the Wizard, and you see that Tom Brady's human just like everybody else. He might be or could be having some sort of familial issues because he's playing and not being retired. It's just something about when you're the people that you appreciate watching and stuff like that when they are human, you're like, ugh.
Well,
seeing how this also
his marriage survived Antonio Brown. So they should be good.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
I mean, really.
Or is it still going?
Good point.
There is that. I heard he was in Dubai in May doing some stuff.
But, I mean, honestly, I can't believe that there's not much hype around this game. You'd figure they've been trying to pass the torch to Patrick Mahomes for how long now? Have they given up on that? Has it gone to Josh Allen? Is Josh Allen the new face of the NFL going forward? I mean,
Could be. I mean, really, at this point, what if Patrick Mahomes really has to prove?
I mean, who else steps out of the back of the end zone?
Dan Orlovsky.
Come on. The man's getting paid $250,000 a day to step onto the field, okay? Who else is getting that?
But I'm being serious. I mean, have they given up on the passing of the torch to Pat? You don't see it much anymore. You don't get the hype.
You can't pass the torch if the torch isn't going away. Guy's going to play until he breaks in half.
He's done.
He's already got a deal to be an announcer, and he's like, I don't want to do that, so I'll just keep playing.
So who do you see as the next face of the NFL? Brady's going eventually, regardless. I honestly think they gave up on the Patrick Mahomes thing because it's just
Tua.
The candle's burning out, right? I mean,
Tua.
3 I think it's Justin Fields.
I think we should go Tua the pick six.
Tua Mia. All right, pick six. So I guess I'll start with Stout's pick six.
The Cardinals are going to get in there.
What's that?
I really thought the Cardinals were going to score that time.
So we got Stout's pick six. He's got the Cowboys, Cardinals, Eagles, Chargers, Packers, and Vikings.
And so do the rest of you guys.
Not all of them.
You guys pretty much all have the same things.
So I've got Cowgirls,
Oh.
Vikings, Chargers, Browns, Jags, Packers.
You're still hurting.
I think he needs a hug too. Jeez.
Just wait till he goes 2-2.
I'm gonna go Tua and Tua.
Low
So anyway,
ankle.
All right, Andy, you up there hanging tough. What do you got?
who?
Give us your pick six, man.
Who?
You.
That's what I was asking. I asked Jared if he wanted to go first. You want me to go first? Good Lord. Vikings over the Saints. I can't read it looks like the Colbys versus the Cowboys versus Washington. Sorry, I was in a rush. Bears, of course, over the Giants. Ittles over the Jags. I still think that they're going to be the Jags. Cards over the, I think it's Cards. Colts. Cards over the Panthers. Rams over the, whoever they're playing.
He's got the Gobies, Colts.
This show went off the tracks really early, and it's just never recovered.
Oh my God,
Jerry.
I hurt my ankle early in the show, and I haven't been able to focus since.
Give us your picks.
I got the Packers, Chargers, Lions, Raiders, Eagles, Steelers.
Raiders.
Yep.
The Raiders.
Yep, I picked them last week and they lost, and so I was like, "Well, hey, do it again. Why not?" Right?
Keep it going. That's my philosophy. But
yeah.
Any closing thoughts, gentlemen, before we end the misery of this show?
My pick six doesn't matter. Thanks, Mike.
No, it doesn't.
You already got your money here, Brian. We'll do it again. All right, make us that paper.
Money. money. Very quickly, Cowboys, Eagles, Chargers, and then NFC North time, Vikings, Packers, Bears.
Did everyone pick the same teams this week?
That's what I told you. That's why I picked different ones. That's why I went like Lions and Raiders, because I got to make up some ground somehow.
Right on. So, gentlemen, seriously, any closing?
Not going. So he started like in earnest reading your. That's what kind of got me because I thought you would already win.
Any closing?
Oh man.
Any closing thoughts or comments?
Oh yeah.
All right, then. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, you didn't turn us off from the boredom, and we'll try to do better next week.
We all just agree the Cowboys suck. Bucs are awful.